floor yours.
This is amazing. Thanks everyone for coming, and for David Walford for organising the whole thing, first of all. Thanks for the lovely guests. So, on my left is, as we've said, Mensky, the internet's very own Mensky. Perhaps this will signal the end of all Digitiser shitface.
Oh!
And Tim Moore, Mr. Ayres himself, the co-creator of Digitiser with Mr. Biffo, back in the mists of time called the 1990s. Thanks for joining us. First up, guys, what are your thoughts on how it's possible that Digitiser is still going and that we're here for the show tonight?
Does any of these things work?
I don't know.
Did the interswitch?
Hello?
Well, this boom mic.
That's just the show, I think.
Is it?
Wireless mic? Do you guys want to share that one?
No, okay, we'll share. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, what do you think of the fact that Digitiser's still got such a strong following and we're here for the show tonight?
Well, I was hoping it wasn't because I was stealing catchphrases and everything on YouTube, so when he came back I couldn't use him anymore, so... Not sure you can work it out?
Well, it's extraordinary, frankly. And with the advent of all this new stuff here that's been dredged out of the ether in some way that is just sorcery, it's extraordinary to read it all again, and I'm just amazed that this room is full of people who remember it, because at the time it seemed like the absolute definition of disposable culture. I mean, it was literally here today, gone tomorrow, every day was different. And yet somehow it lives on. I can't really get my head around it.
We heard in the panel earlier that when editing teletext, you would literally overwrite the existing pages and upload those, so there was no thought to preservation or archiving at the time. So going right back to the start, Tim, what do you remember about joining teletext and meeting Biffo?
Well, I was taken on. Their wages were quite good because they were owned by the Daily Mail. And I'd never really had a job actually. I was a freelance journalist, and then my wife got pregnant, and I thought I should take my life more seriously. So I went and got a kind of a job that would involve me. Actually, I don't know why I did this, but I used to wear a suit even though nobody else in the entire office did. And I think I was supposed to be the kind of youth author or something cringe-inducing, and it was actually Paul, Mr. Biffo, who said he pitched it. I promise I would be bad about this. It was completely his idea, and somehow, just because I was like in my job title was journalist and he was designer, I became sort of anyway, I was like deemed the sort of senior person for quite a long time. Yeah, but we didn't really have any idea what we wanted to do. Paul was extraordinarily good at doing those caricatures of everything. Particularly of people around the office was the first thing I saw. Was like this guy kind of curling out a big turd and stuff. Just things that you would not see that shouldn't be possible in the kind of graphically unrich medium of teletext. But he was really able to do these things. And exactly, that's what's always intrigued me, because when we had video games, which was the most kind of graphically rich medium imaginable, you'd be able to say anything sensible about it on teletext, or at least reproduce it. He did a fairly possible, Sonic the Hedgehog, did a really good Mario. And when it's not that, it's quite straight batted, really. And I still can't quite work out the process whereby, given we had this tiny amount of words on each page, so you want to really make each kind of letter count to make a really punchy point. But very shortly, we really did the complete opposite of that, and just waffled on and just stupid and ridiculous. And it seemed to be a kind of an offence against the whole medium. And we were total outsiders in the office. And we kind of hid behind this big partition and sort of threw stuff at people and made crank phone calls around the office. And it was like, as I remember saying to my wife, I always come back, basically I spent half the day at least literally crying with laughter. And I'd come over and say, oh yeah, got this really funny thing happened at school, at work. It really was like being at school and sort of being paid for and just playing video games all day long and stuff. And it was on this great big telly, because there was a big cathode-grade telly in those days. So this thing, we got this, I don't know how big it was, probably 40 inches, it was fucking huge. And that was a good sheet, we could sort of hide behind that and do our silliness. So that's how it began.
So this was 1992, so Oracle had lost the franchise for teletext on ITV and Channel 4, and Teletext Limited had come along and been awarded it. So you were preparing a brand new service at this point. You were writing, as you say, the teens section, and there was proposed a video games page, but it was a single page, wasn't it?
You see, already you remember more than I do. I did say earlier to Chris, I said, I'm really sorry, an awful lot of this stuff. Frankly, everything happened to me more than about 12 years ago. I've taken it, but I'll do my best. Yes, that's right. Well, what was weird is that we were going live on January the 1st, whatever, 1990, whatever it was. So we had kind of like, we were doing stuff about September as if it was. I mean, that is the overriding lesson. The whole thing is like, again, I think because just things like your man here and stuff. It was so kind of weird that the sub-editors and the actual editors and the senior people just sort of looked at it and just thought, oh, well, what? Okay, well, and because the figures were really good, because I'm still not quite sure how they did this viewing things, but they were amazingly good. So let's get on with it. But when I used to read, it just how did you not say that? I'm sorry, you're making a really obvious, really offensive double entendre. I said single entendre, really.
So do you think you got a pass for things that other sections wouldn't have done?
Well, up to a point, but other sections didn't do them. They would just say, like, here's a great new album by or something. So yeah, we just had a. But we did away with it. Okay, we got in loads of trouble, repeatedly told to take things down, and eventually I got sacked for being stupid.
Do you remember much about the launch day?
I was actually, I had to do an actual night. I was there in the studio, office? I don't know, anyway, when we went live on, whatever, was it 1993?
Yeah, 1st January 1993.
Oh God, right. But again, I was at that stage, I was still sort of doing two things. I was being kind of, sort of, I think they wanted me because I was really good at spelling, so that was enough to get kind of senior fast track to kind of the top editorial role. I just got waylaid with it was just so fun working with people doing stuff that just became my thing.
How did you come to gel so quickly? Do you remember what that was like initially working together?
I don't know, I suppose because it was a bit of a weird thing. So he wasn't supposed to be a writer. I think that was the thing. I was supposed to be writing. He was supposed to be designing it all. And I did say that. I said, well, I think it's. I probably didn't say this to the people in charge. I would say to the reports, okay, I don't really know anything about video games, which would be a bit of a disadvantage given the situation I found myself in. But thankfully he did. So he kind of wrote about them and did all that kind of stuff. And I kind of corrected his. He didn't really make any spelling mistakes. Actually, I'm not quite sure what we did quite all the time. But then he started. I think he did start with his graphic, his caricatures, because they were just hilarious. And I think he appreciated the fact that I thought they were really good and also really funny. And then it just went from there. And then
was it meant to make you laugh a lot of the time?
Well, they were trying to make each other laugh, but
that was the motivation.
Because what was good, because you get these, you do these pages up on it. We were like sitting and kind of, we did some vaguely have our backs to each other. It was kind of a bleak angle. So that you could just change things that people had just done and send it back to them and just put stupid pictures or. I mean, not exactly my own graphical contribution because I couldn't do any of that stuff. I was watching you do it. It was just, this really funny keyboard, which I'm sure everyone actually knows about. It's quite nice to talk to people who know what I'm talking about, but with all the sort of Tetris type patterns on it, and instantly do a picture of someone with a cock on their head or something. And I was kind of just in awe of that. Really. I feel like this person here should be saying something.
Yeah, that's it.
Go on, Metzger.
No, I'll bring Metzger in. So when did you start reading Digitiser?
Oh, from the start.
1st of January 1993.
I remember.
Is that one working?
It's on. Oh no, it's on there. Yeah, I remember reading it from the start. In fact, I know that there was a switchover point from when Oracle became teletext. And I remember being up at midnight that night watching it switch over. So it wasn't very shortly afterwards, because I read the previous FX. In fact, I remember contacting them because I'd completed Sonic 2 really fast, and they'd contact with Games Master, so I contacted Games Master saying, yeah, I finished Sonic 2. One of the researchers came to my house to make sure I finished the weird thing. I was on top of that leaderboard.
Did you keep your Mega Drive switched on?
Yeah, no. They made me play Sonic 2. Some guy drove from London to Cheltenham just to find out if I could actually finish it that quickly. Weird thing. But anyway, yeah. So I was watching straight from the start. And I remember the Sonic the Hedgehog and the Mario pictures on the first pages and everything. Yeah, from the start.
When did you get a sense that this wasn't the average game section?
Ooh, I don't know. It always had that. I mean, there were certain magazines back in the day that had that kind of vibe already. So, like your Sinclair and Zero and everything like that. So, I think it became quite obvious quite soon that there was something special about Digitiser.
So there was the standard of the reviews, the games content, but then there was the strangeness of everything else that was going on around it.
Yeah.
Did that make an impression? How old would you have been at this point?
Oh, I don't know. When it first came out, about 18, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I was fresh out of school, got my years.
Were you looking at it thinking, what the hell are they doing with this?
No, I saw it as that general progression from, because I was always reading the weirder computer magazines back in the day anyway, but this was something else. This was clearly something else, and I was well into it, and yeah.
So you had the quality of the gaming coverage, and you had the completely irrelevant sections like the fake adverts. Tim, do you remember the fake adverts for things like Dust Technozone?
Oh, God, yeah. And that was actually that was something I was able to contribute vaguely to graphically, because we had all these the two big earners on teletext were on racing tips and holidays. So you could just sort of in a quick way cut and paste things and slogans and then change them slightly.
So they started out as existing.
Sometimes now I think Paul was so good at doing display stuff. He was like, let's have a funny German electric cat and just do it there and then. But I think maybe I'm trying to dig myself up slightly now, because I can't remember ever doing anything. But I think I may have had something to do with the first reveals, because when I discovered the reveal, I can do that. I can just get funny slogans and from the pages which mean nothing at all, and just say just press reveal at the end of someone's letter once, and then just give them a kind of insultingly irrelevant answer.
I think that's a mode of historical significance.
Yeah, but it might not be. It probably wasn't me. Let's just agree that it was Paul's not here anyway, so yeah, it was me. All of it was me.
Alongside all of this sort of going on, you had stuff that you and Paul were doing just to make yourselves laugh, like Rinser, the prank phone calls. At what point did you think, it would be a good idea to ring up a game shop and prank them, and then put that on Digi?
I think in the end we just had too much time on our hands. I mean, even though this thing, I remember doing this every press release we'd sent out to all the kind of games companies, because when we first started, obviously they'd sort of like these people, and we didn't used to get sent any games. At that time, in the heyday of the sort of, the SNES and the Mega Drive, there were like literally dozens of games coming out every week. We didn't get any of them, so we did this press release, and so I was like, we're the world's only daily games magazine. So that sounded actually that did sort of do the job. It was quite a good kind of tagline.
And of course, when Digi launched, there was the press release that went out to the existing gaming press announcing it, which a lot of them ran with. Some of them more disparaging than others.
But no one took it seriously. We were exactly who conveyed them was the way things panned out. But the fact is, we did get, we could tell when the post came in, because most other teletext sessions got about one letter a week. And when we sort of asked for letters, we were getting, you know, dozens, sometimes like 100 a day at some point. You know, it was extraordinary.
How quickly did they start coming in?
Almost immediately. I mean, there was always a hardcore of people who did, you know, famous sort of Stuart N. Hardy types and that kind of thing, who did it like almost every day. And it's still, I did feel a bit bad about the fact that our main job when we were putting letters up was to find something they had said or about their name that we could laugh at, which seems a very
staple.
Yeah, very poor way of going about the kind of customer interface there.
That reminds me, actually. I had a letter published. I was promised a picture of a weatherman for the ITV weather, and I never got it.
Yeah. Not my department. I could have written you a kind of like you about it.
So this would have been really early on then, because you somehow came by a stack of ITV weatherman photos, and we're giving them away as prizes to letter writers, so it's just something to do.
Well, so in the end, it lives up the world's own, so it makes it sound like we should be really busy, but because, you know, there were sort of, you know, 5 words on the page, but we always would generally be kind of finish the next day's stuff by kind of, you know, 10:30, something like that. And then that's when the kind of the throwing fruit at people in the office, and then the prank phone calls. The prank phone calls actually happened started in the office, but it's an internal thing where you could call people's extensions. And we discovered that on a lot of those Mega Drive games in particular, that you could get into the sort of menu and get all the sound samples. And our favourite one was there was some kind of Jungle Book game, and they had just it's below the bed, and things like that. And we just getting there and just download it to someone over the other side of the office. So it's like that, you know.
So, Mensky, you were obviously a gamer back in the early 90s. Did you read much else of the gaming press at the time?
Oh yeah. There's magazines that I would read. Usually ones by Dennis publishing, so it did start with, you know, Single Element Zero. So it was the weird side of the publications as well. But I was reading pretty much everything, because in those days, I mean, you didn't have the internet, did you? So you'd have to pick up your magazines every month. Either that or read them in your local WH Smiths and all that. But yeah, I read a lot.
Was Mean Machines one of them by any chance?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going with this. Yeah, wow.
Do you remember much about the reception that Digi got in the Mean Machines?
Yeah. Oh, well, I remember an awful lot, because there were a few ads in the magazines before Digitiser launched, weren't there?
Yeah, the press release.
The press release and everything. I kind of remember that, yeah. But I don't know, the whole Mean Machines feud kind of passed me by, I think. I don't think I was totally...
Do you remember much of what was going on with the Digitiser letter page at the time?
Oh yeah. No. I saw it happening. I saw it happening, but it wasn't anything that I was really paying that much attention to or fighting on either side. I didn't, at that point in time, I was probably reading Mean Machines Saga out of all of them, if that was a thing at that point in time, because I was always a Saga boy. I can't remember really getting into the nitty-gritty, into the fight or anything like that.
What about you, Tim? Do you remember things coming to a head with Mean Machines and the faxes that went back and forth?
Yeah, but it's funny because it started out as just all a bit silly and then actually got genuinely quite unpleasant. I think, for some reason we was it Steve Merritt? Was it?
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
In fact, that was the cartoon that was published. That got a little touch on it.
At some point, we just had a thing about giving people just surreal nicknames, and I think it was Paul. We put something about biscuit skin, which didn't mean anything. But actually, when I did at some point, I didn't meet him. I actually did have kind of quite bad skin. Please say it's not there. Please, anyone. So I can say, looking back, I think that may be how it suddenly got inflamed.
Because they took it really seriously. They were printing letters and editorial replies and things pretty much every month.
But that was at that stage. That was all. You know, we were very much kind of like no such thing as bad publicity. It was like we still had, because we're so remote from everything, like sitting in this funny office full of real journalists and stuff. And all of that. We'd have no real way of kind of knowing, how if we were kind of populist way of getting some letters were coming in and stuff, but still, when we get to these trade shows and stuff, they're all like, fuck you kind of thing. And that was a really quite a useful way of raising our profile.
So it actually did you a favour?
I think it probably did, actually. Well, it probably didn't do me personally, though, because that got me on the road of kind of insulting people in the games industry, which ultimately led to me getting fired.
I was going to come on to that, actually, because there were a fair few controversial moments in Digitiser.
Actually, even really early on, because it was partly because it was published on the Daily Mail, so that the Sun was a big rival. But clearly sort of must have put some thought to go through every single page of teletext to try and find something that was wrong or offensive or whatever. And clearly, whoever this person was quite quickly realised that our section has been quite a fruitful place to search for that kind of stuff. And I can't even remember what it was. It was something about the first, I think it was the first Street Fighter game, because it became huge and then people were getting kind of repetitive brain injury, and there was some sort of epilepsy thing or something. And we made some puzzle, and I wasn't even trying to be funny or anything.
Teletext wrapped for video games.
Teletext wrapped over video games joke. Yeah, exactly. And after that, we were quite certainly internally that made it quite difficult for us, and we were wrapped over sick video jokes in the comfort of our own desks on a regular basis after that.
So it didn't take long before sort of playing around with what you could do.
Oh, he's here. She's here.
So it wasn't long before the characters started appearing, and the first one was the man with the long chin. What do you remember about that? Why did you give him the screen time?
Well, again, it just seems that everything, even though we should have been taking, this series of content we could have been doing, and all these games coming out, we could have just devoted them all very, very happily to doing real video game journalism. But it was just so tempting, given the autonomy we appeared to have been given in those early days, to restrict ourselves to that. I can't remember at what point we started getting really stupid, but it was probably quite quickly. It might have been like 2 months or something like that.
I think it was about.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny actually, because the man with the long chin, when you look back now through the pantheon of other kind of digitisers, he seems quite, his name is quite ordinary and actually quite benign. Yeah, and so on. But he was just a good kind of. I mean, it was all, obviously that is all man launching and all that. He would do the man's diary and stuff like that. I would just wet myself off, and then go. Exactly. Sometimes all I could do was there were like 4 characters left at the end of his contributions like this, but and exclamation mark just right at the end of the page there, that sort of thing.
See, that's something that became a hallmark, the weird use of punctuation and the cadence and the way you use language was really unique. Was that both of you?
I suppose so. Yeah, I think Paul was probably quite pleased in a way that I was nominally supposed to be editing his work, and instead I just approved of his digressions and kind of embellished them sometimes and stuff, and it was it just seemed to kind of quite organically happen that we both found the same things really funny, and like I said, I've never laughed so much in my entire life.
Sounds like the ideal job really in many ways.
Yeah, well it was, that's funny, because we would get people, obviously, I'm sure actually anyone who works at any video games magazine probably had these letters the whole time saying, oh, you got the best job in the world, from like 15-year-old boys. I'd be like, well yes I do, but I am actually a 30-year-old father. So it was a bit awkward.
Brings joy now, in that case, is your mic working, is it?
Yes.
No.
So, you're a long-time fan yourself. So were you reading it in the very earliest days?
I think we probably were, yeah. We used to read it in the sixth form common. No, that's a lie. We didn't have a television in the common room. Oh, did not dodge that one. It was in the library. Yeah, we would read Digitiser and often do Bamboozle and lose the band. Because we didn't know anything because we were kids. But yeah, if we hadn't seen it at school, I'd always catch up with it. Because basically, it was a bit like the internet before there was an internet, in the sense that you didn't have to wait for whatever magazine to come out at the end of the month. Here is your news now, and it's really bloody fun.
So what were your impressions of it back then? Do you remember what your abiding memories were?
I thought you meant like a physical impression.
It's a flat CRT screen.
It's going to be difficult. I remember really enjoying... One of the things I enjoyed the most you just brought up, actually, the use of language, which I've probably subconsciously stolen in everything I've done since in communication. Absolutely. One of my favourites was the man who talks fear.
Nun child.
Exactly. We printed on an old dot matrix printer on tractor feed paper. Yeah, you remember that. A big, very grey, because we weren't allowed to turn the printer to black because that used too much of the ribbon. A big banner that said "Chow Ning Ning," an exclamation mark, and an awful blocky bit of clip art of a thumb. And we had it up in the sixth form common room. And nobody took it down or questioned it, because I think they were a bit scared of it.
I think there was some kind of message.
Yeah, I think they thought this was some sort of meaning to somebody, but no, it was just us arsing around and putting it up one night. I wish I still had that.
This I think, particularly what Digis fans have all experienced, that it made an impression in a really strange part of the brain that latched onto the humour, and I think for me it was like a window into a completely different world, and every day we were able to go in there and see what new things were happening.
Some of my fondest memories are we would be reading it in the library, and there was always those two people who didn't get it. They didn't get the joke, they didn't understand what was going on, they thought it was stupid because nothing's really funny until somebody doesn't get the joke. And then, now I'm really a joke.
They offer, basically nobody I knew, all of my friends and family thought it was absolute fucking rubbish. Not even just embarrassingly stupid. I thought, so then, well, what did you do today then? And well, let's have a look. Then in page 3, so let's have a look. Then what have you done today? And it was excruciating.
I think how my dad feels. I eat expired food for a living.
So, Digi's been going for a few years now. At this point in its history, 1996. Before it goes off on paternity leave, leaves you, Tim, at the helm for a few weeks. And the Dave Perry incident happens. Can you remember much about that?
I can remember that quite well. What were the denouement? Yes.
Yeah. So
it was actually really, by the standard, it was a bit like Al Capone getting done for tax dodges. So it was all the stuff we had of people with Danny Taurus thing with this extending penis that came out every day out of his head, that sort of thing, which should have been an instant red card, first sacking offence, off you go, that's the end of it. But we did have various warnings, but the final one was just quite innocuous, it was actually quite tedious. So we had some exciting tip that Dave Perry was going to be disciplined by his editors or something, or the magazine was struggling, and we just put that.
This was a gossip dog?
Yes. And we put that in one same week. So obviously I put that into the Gossip the Dog, and Dave Perry. There's a bit annoying actually. Afterwards, he did admit that it was completely true. But because I was in a, and it was quite funny. So I had a source and everything, and I was like, well, what my source said, and. But I couldn't, so I couldn't stand it up, and they were quite keen. That was the last straw.
So you went in quite dramatic style.
It was actually quite good. So yeah, they did. They had been sort of spoiling it for some time, so it could have been anything really. And they were going to, they frog-marched. They escorted me to my desk, and I have to say, I did throw a cup of coffee onto my keyboard. And then they actually escorted me into the club. I had the bike I used to ride to school. I was getting my bikes from police auctions of recovered stolen property. There was this cheapest bike I ever, it was like £7. It was like a girl's pink mountain bike. And they escorted me into the kind of company bike shed. I think there's the one where, you know, kicks and bikes over or something. But instead I had to then sort of try and carry off this task of pedaling haughtily away from the terminated live contrast. Yeah. But I was actually, I do remember this guy, even though his whole thing was silly, as things panned out, it was probably, in fact, professionally the best thing that happened. But I was kind of, I was really upset and stuff, and I took it quite badly. I didn't, well, they put the fire in my belly, so when I went off and started doing travel books and stuff, that my burning hatred of the teletext.
There are some references in
yeah,
my stuff.
Yeah, there were. I think they were kind of meant put sort of some really snide thing in the dedications and everything.
And there was a postcard, I seem to remember, that you sent back to teletext.
Yeah, there was something with the kind of dead puffins on it, something.
Wish you were her.
Yeah. And it seems silly, but yeah. So that was that. So I should have, you know, in the end, Paul went down with a much worse. They sort of said we're kind of winding down the famous term, the word being sick. That would have been a worthy way of getting fired, but.
So, Paul Biffo, he went alone essentially with a bit of help from guys doing the tips and the charts after that. Bensky, do you remember that period, 96, 97? Did you notice any differences around that time after Tim left?
Wow.
Yeah, it was awful. It was terrible. It fell off quality-wise. I actually, in fact, sorry to drop you, but I was so upset I couldn't bear to watch it for ages. It took me kind of like, you know, about 3 months to go and watch it again. But
when they were talking about Digitiser Phase 2 was coming, did that genuinely hurt?
But yeah, I think it probably did a bit. As I said, I don't really know why. Bearing in mind the whole thing was Paul's idea, and he wrote about it in 98%. Maybe I'm just sad about the gravy train aspect being coming to an end.
We've all had our grief about various Digitiser moments.
It's my first bit.
No, I do remember the names changing. So it was like, who's this cheese and onions fellows? Where's Ayers gone? Where's Ayers gone?
Not there anymore.
He's not there anymore. I didn't know. I didn't know what had gone on behind the scenes, as it were, at the time. So.
Because they'd always be referring to each other in the reviews.
Yeah. So you knew that something was off because what you'd got. But why, how, therefore, it was unknown to me.
So this was the point that now he's gone it alone. If I was taking Digi in an even weirder direction, now that he's got sole control of the joystick, and this is when all the characters really exploded and the reveals took off. And it also coincided with the popularisation of the internet at home as being accessible. So late 90s, started to see a fan community emerge. And you ran a website, didn't you, back in those days?
I hate to call it a fan site. I more likely nowadays call it a bad cover act. But yeah, I did have a Digitiser fan page website thing. Had an interview with Paul. Yeah,
a significant interview, yeah. The source of the Handsome Crowd
revelation. The Handsome Crowd revelation, yes it was, wasn't it? Yeah. But you know, the official Mr. Biffo fan account wasn't official. It wasn't official insight. I don't know why they used that. Yeah, that was up there. That was up there for a while, and most of the rest of the stuff on the website was just me copying. Let's be fair, because I think everybody wanted to be here.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean. And we're still trying even to this day. Yes.
And from there to the news group which dare not speak its name, or Digitiser.
Oh no, there's a whole story before Alt Digitiser.
Oh.
There's UK Rec Video Games Digitiser.
I wasn't even aware of this.
Oh yeah,
that's
because originally they a few people tried to go into the UK side of NewsNet and create UK Rec Video Games Digitiser, and the people who ran that hierarchy basically said, oh no, we can't have it under video games because people will think that Digitiser is a video game. So, So go to alt-config, and those people go, no, you can't have alt-digitizer because nobody will know, everybody will think it's about digitisers. And it turned out that these people that ran the alt-config domain, that thought they had power over the newsgroups, had no power whatsoever, and all you had to do was add a control message to a certain newsgroup, and those newsgroups just appeared.
So after weeks of talking about taxonomy and hierarchy, and then bang, it's just there.
It's just there. And about 98% of newsgroup servers just added it, and the 2% were the people that basically ran out config and thought that they were safe in their own little fiefdoms controlling the internet.
So there's now an actual place to talk about Digitiser, but not much talk about Digitiser happening.
Well, no, it did at the start. And also this is also the other thing we've got about Digitiser. I have to point this out. When we found out that you could create a newsgroup just by putting this control code in, 200 other newsgroups on the old Digitiser hierarchy happened. All of them in jokes. Yes, there was old Digitiser snakes, old Digitiser everything. And I won't get into it because there are an awful lot of private jokes which I guess we should get into. Because the honest truth is that after about a couple of months of everybody saying stay away from Mr. T's bins, we got bored. And so we made up our own jokes. And that was a problem for anybody that had only just found it and just went, oh, stay away from Mr. T's bins, because we've gone way past that. We've gone way past that. And yeah, I am responsible for the phrase get out of my newsgroup, so I'm sorry.
It was your newsgroup.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry. If anybody, any of you, came into Alt Digitiser thinking that it was a wonderful place for Digitiser fans to get together, and you quoted something from Digitiser, and we just jumped on you like a pack of rabid dogs, because it probably happened. So yeah, I'm so sorry about that. So sorry.
So there's an established online community then at this point in the late 90s. Stuart, do you remember anything about that? Do you remember going online and checking?
Very little. I only really worked on how to access newsgroups about 3 weeks ago, so...
newsgroups are. They're a bit of a relic now. They don't really exist anymore.
I was more of a alt.binaries.dreamcast kind of guy. Being able to play Res and things like that. Watching it spend 5 million hours downloading only a bloody Dunlop as it was like that. But yeah, I remember there was definitely one Digitiser fan site I remember seeing it. That may have been yours. My memories of that hazy.
Well, if it was super page 58, obviously. Mine was just Digi or something.
Digi! Exclamation mark.
Exclamation mark. Yeah. There were a couple of others. There were a couple of others in the fandom that made sites that they were vaguely Digitiser related.
There's a web rig, so they'd all been linked together.
Yeah, something along those lines. And obviously there was the IRC channel, which went through multiple iterations. It started as #Digi, then became #Digi-98 and #Digi Chevron thing 98 because everybody was having arguments and nobody could get along. So like, was that right? No, it's not bad. So that happened for a while as well, and there were some websites dedicated to that specifically, which basically jokes really.
It seemed to coincide though with a real golden period in Digi's history. 99, 2000, where you had some of the real classic characters coming along. So, Stuart, do you remember anything about that period?
Oh yeah, I remember very little of the video games news of that period. I probably lost interest and was more interested in what Morse was doing to Lewis back in those days. What snakes were up to.
Dreamcast piracy.
In Dreamcast piracy, yes.
Yeah.
Officially no, but yes.
So, I mean, this is when they were actually run wild, and you had whole pages dedicated to the characters and multi-page stories with the snakes and Morse and Lewis, like I say. And there seems to be a community at this point on there of the 1.5 million readers a week that were just tuning in for the stupid stuff.
I think that's absolutely true, yeah. I mean, I always used to love it when magazines like Your Sinclair and Media Power would move away a little bit into sort of strange territory, but Digitiser didn't just move into it, they kind of excavated it and built a big castle and lived there. So, I did enjoy that very much, very much.
So it wasn't long though, unfortunately, until after a series of events, the teletext bosses finally got their way in to remove the humour using very unfortunate things as a pretext to do that. That's known as Digigate. This happened in late 2001, and suddenly the humour stopped. Does anybody remember that? And
the shitening. Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed to happen all of a sudden. Like something I turned it on, and like you've gone to a restaurant and you say, can I have eggs Benedict, please? And they just give you a plate, and it's just cornflakes with no milk. I'm not enjoying this anymore. And they didn't even have better video game coverage, there was no excuse for it whatsoever.
It was on fewer days a week as well.
So, yeah, it's just the whole thing, became shite, frankly.
I don't know if you're similar to me in this, that I was really interested with games at this point, and I was reading the humour list digitally, that actually, I'm not really interested in this, there's no reason for me to keep coming back anymore.
So, yeah, I think that probably did.
Maybe it killed our interest in video games as well. I don't think it's possible.
They have a lot to answer for, a whole generation.
You should have downloaded more Dreamcast images.
No, allegedly I did.
So this was quite a dark period really for Biffo, and he was just very much getting his head down and earning his money essentially. Tim, do you remember much about that? I mean, you guys were still friends then. Did he talk to you about it?
Yes, he did. He's always, so much of him was invested in Digitiser. It was effectively his creation. The sillier it got, the more him it became, because he's a brilliantly silly man. So to have that all taken away, he was bereaved. It was awful for him. Having said that, most of the time I used to see him quite regularly, and we would just basically sit in the pub and play a game of knocking on the window and people walk past to confuse him. That was we did that for several hours, once every 2 months. So I feel like I wasn't there for him, frankly. It was clearly when he found other outlets for it, his silliness. He was a much happier man. Well, it is a shame about the first internet stuff, because it was Digitiser was all apart from the sort of silly meme tube stuff. It was all very cosy and jolly, and everyone, in spite of the fact that we were really pissed out of everybody who read us, it was all perfectly. And it just seemed a shame when it got into all these internet groups and everything else that it seemed to quite quickly distill down to nastiness and also that kind of stuff. And we lost a bit of that. I know Paul had loads of trouble with that later on as well.
Not the bad stuff.
But it didn't last though, thankfully, and after a huge fan campaign of letters being sent in complaining to teletext management, demanding restoration of humour, they eventually relented, and it came back late 2002, just in time for its 10th anniversary, January 2003, and it came back with a vengeance. What do you guys remember about that, the last or final few months?
I remember discovering it by accident, because obviously by this stage I'd stopped reading it, really. And then I think something flipped through, just sort of flipped over. It has returned! I must read the back issues. That's not possible, it's teletext. So I was gutted.
Well, it was possible, because it was all archived on the internet, you just never knew.
Maybe that's what I went looking for.
A lot of it by that point in time was being archived.
My main memory is, I don't know which site this was off the top of my head, but you could create your own Morse and Lewis things in that little chat.
Did you comics creator?
That was it, yes.
It's gone now, but you can find it on archive.org. I think it still works. Yeah.
That's my evening, so it's fantastic.
So, Digi's back, the full glory, 2003. Biffo's leaving. He's announced that Digitiser is ending and that the game section won't be written by him anymore and will be handed over. So there's no reason for him to hold back at this point. All the characters are innuendo-laden. Are there any particular that stick in your mind?
What, apart from
Apart from the we all know
Oh dear. Like, well, let's be fair, even Zombie Dave was, like, for
it wasn't rude.
For a brewer. Right, yeah. Zombie Dave was always a great inspiration. But, yeah, it was... Like Stu, he said that he didn't realise it was happening. We knew. We'd heard the grumblings. I was idling on hashtag during the time, so we knew that it was coming. So
good Biffo would pop in there occasionally. And
well, not so much hashtag. I turn up on Digitiser every so often, but I think this was the problem because we. Took a quite a diversion very quickly on him and Stuart Campbell just disavowing themselves of us very quickly, and in fact there were certain remarks made on Digitiser itself saying, yeah, don't go there, it's full of ourselves. He's not wrong.
I think Biffo's on record as saying that they were the most lenient sub-editors at that point in Digi's history. That just happened to coincide with him going out and putting all this unbelievable stuff. Yeah, everything was phallic, and everything was poking fun at people. So the last edition lives in legend, as we know, and people talk about it today even still, and that kind of brings us on to a nice way to wrap things up, really. So, why do you guys all think Digi is still enduring and people, even now, celebrating we've got all these people here today?
I think the uniqueness is a big amount of it, isn't it? I mean, name 3 other things like Digitiser. Good luck naming another one, you know. It's something we've not seen a lot of since, until obviously Paul started doing stuff again. That's very obvious.
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure one of the things that we bonded over when we first met was Digitiser, wasn't it? It probably was. I mean, at that point in time, I didn't think anybody really knew or cared about it anymore. Like, let's face it, as I mentioned at the start of this, we stole the catchphrase. I'm not saying it was both of us. And yeah, like I didn't think it had the impact that it had, you know. And then Paul comes back and starts doing, you know, the bottom party in Cambridge and fan footage and everything, and it's just got bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm sure it's even brought in more fans now, you know what I mean? Like fans that weren't...
Since Digitising the show, there's definitely seems to be an upswing in new fans.
Yeah, way since back in those days in the 1990s. And obviously it's brought people back that probably haven't read it since 2000 or something. They might not have even seen him come back when he kept, you know, when it went dull for a while. They might have forgotten about it way before then and never even saw those last few weeks.
I've seen people say that they thought that was the end of it. And
that was the end of it, yeah. So it's nice to see this community, you know, erupt.
How about you, Tim? Are you staggered that something that you started with Paul 26 years ago is still being spoken about and revered today?
No. Yes, and I think partly actually it's something to do with the actual medium of teletext, which is, I mean, I'm sure 99% of people, it's not exactly, you don't get, well, maybe Digitiser is a bit different, but it's very solitary. It's a wonder. You just sit in front of your telly and watch little. And I think it was the unexpected discovery of loads of, you know, teenage boys, largely, that there was something which seemed so unpromising, that there was going to be this very, very personal, engaging relationship they were going to have with people somehow conjuring surreal gibberish on teletext. And I think it had a profound effect on people at that age, and it was something they'd never forgotten about.
I think that's very true.
I think one of the best things about Digitiser was the fact that, let's face it, anybody with a relatively modern TV could read it. And, you know, if you wanted a magazine to pay for it, it was there. Yeah. It was there every morning. You dialed your number in, you watched it. That's the reason so many people read it, because it was there and it was available. Way before the internet and everything existed, it was there, it was available.
Guys, thanks very much. Do we have enough time for any questions? Two.
Say 5 minutes?
Yeah, okay. Can I drop to the floor then?
Any questions? 1, 2. That was quick. We just all it. 1, 2. And we'll see how we go on time.
Is it working?
I just want to ask the panel, what character do you think sums up Digitiser as a whole? That one character?
Mr. T, I think, because he's a 1980s film and TV star that was kind of forgotten about in the 90s, and he was absolutely repurposed in the most surreal way, and that was completely Digitiser's MO. It was all Z-list celebrities and characters from crime dramas and that kind of thing.
Next question. Oh, no,
Well,
still thinking.
I was going to answer. I think Duncan. Gerald Prawns in a jar. There he is on the t-shirt there. Yeah. That was just...
With a hive mind.
Why? How does that exist? Yeah, for me.
That is the ultimate Biffo distillation.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, anyone else?
Couple of questions. One for Tim. How much did the format of teletext sort of influence how you wrote Digitiser? And for the rest of the panel, how much of the format of teletext it felt personal to you in the way you discovered Digitiser?
Well, yeah, like I said earlier, it seems a total travesty that we have this medium which you have to be really, really concise and get this, kind of describe what this quite complicated visually was like about video games. And I'm sort of quite sure we really chose not to do that. I think it was just exactly, it would seem so hopeless that we could ever adequately either, graphically reimagine it, or given the amount of words we have, rather have you sort of, you get your and you jump up and down, and then you go to the next, I'll run out of words. So we just made catchy attempts at doing that. So I think probably in that way, yes, it did influence that medium of teletext did encourage us to be silly, but actually without Paul's ability to kind of conjure these unbelievably haunting sometimes. I think my definitive character would be the man's daddy, frankly, because he still scares the piss out of me. Yeah, but I've forgotten the part 2 of your question. Right?
Oh, it's for the rest of the panel.
Oh, right, good.
I don't remember it. So,
did any other sections, did you become attached to them in some ways?
oh, what? Teletext?
Yeah.
I can't even remember any of them. Honestly, can't. Wasn't there?
Bamboozle.
Oh yeah. Bamboozle. Did Bamboozle, and there was what's his name? What was the name of that tech guy that was always he had a guest spot on Digitiser.
Leslie Bunder. Bunderman.
The Bunderman. It was on the other things as well, wasn't he? He was just
take over.
being groomed for the role. Yeah. Where is the Bunderman now?
The Bundercoon didn't happen in the end. I think for me, I devoured teletext all across the pages. I mean, it was amazing in one of those days that, like Nancy said, you turn on the text and just cycle through the pages to see what was there. I really loved the music section. Planet Sound was really well written. There was some brilliant journalism going on there. John Earls in particular was a fantastic writer, and I discovered loads of great bands through it. Some of them that actually meant quite a lot to me. And I was gutted when teletext ended, because Planet Sound was still a really important organ at that point. So yeah, I think for me, not in the same way as Digitiser, because I'm not running a website about Planet Sound, But yeah, that was a great section, I think.
Obviously, I was a huge fan of Debbie's Diary, like all good-hearted people. I think I read half a page of that once. I'm not sure I survived. I think it may have been some sort of post-life dream afterwards. I think for me, all I was really interested in were video games and stupid things. So Digitiser was teletext for me, absolutely.
Oh, no, Turn of the Screw.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I definitely remember Turn of the Screw.
After Hours.
After Hours, yeah. I remember reading After Hours.
Does anyone remember After Hours? It was,
yeah.
It only ran for the first couple of months of Teletext Live in early '93.
Yeah.
Because it shared the page number with the kids section.
Yeah, that's it.
At 10 o'clock, After Hours, at 6 a.m, the kids section. One day, didn't update.
It didn't update. That was it, yeah.
Kids turning in for Glog's jokes got sex tips. And Turn of the Screw, which was an adult comic strip drawn by Biffo.
Drawn by Biffo, yeah.
Gentlemen,
I remember that.
thank you. People, thank, if you will, Tim Watson's Alan. I'm going to say, Tim, I didn't know this, so it's partly your fault at least then.
Yes.
Good luck.
Yeah, 2%.
And so we've got Tim, Mensky, Chris, Stuart again. Round of applause, please.
Thanks for coming, everyone. That's the last panel today. We're still here till 6:30, I think, aren't we?
Yes.
Announcement to follow.
Yes, the pizza has arrived, so if all the exhibitors, panellists and hosts would care to strategically come to the front, head towards the pizza, we've probably, that includes you. Yeah, it's okay, you can start. Really, it's going cold. Yes, we're probably grossly over-ordered, so when we've had first go, you're welcome to dig in because we don't want to be taking stuff back or few bags as possible. You've been a great audience, thank you for not stealing the bins. Please be... Yeah, I've jinxed it. The main show, Mr. Biffo says, please be seated by 10 to 7. We'll keep the room open until 6:30 if you want to hang around. And the bar is open. If you're looking for other food, there's a Morrison's next door. And thank you all for coming. And a round of applause for all our panellists and exhibitors.